Hello, viewers, and welcome to take 4 of Uncle Bobby's Cybertronian Corner. Today, we're going to be talking about the blood of Primus and Unicron Energon. One of my nieces actually texted me and asked me what they eat. And I'm like, okay, good question. Um, Comes in a few forms. Its most natural form is the blood of Primus. It flows like a river. And the animals that are on Cybertron eat it and drink it. Well, pretty much drink it. There are a few that eat the crystallized form of it. And that happens when it, seeps through mountains like we get mineral water or spring water. They get different forms of Energon. Its most purest form is blue. Then you have a more refined form, which is pink. Then you have the red form, which is rare. Um, this gives you speed. Short bursts, but if you drink too much of it um, over a long period of time, the short burst goes away and you're extra fast, but you also talk extra fast and blur. You become blur. He used to take a shot of this. He'd watch the races. He'd take a shot of this, drink a pint of that. Shot of this, pint of that. And he'd do that through the entire race. Then he'd go home. And he'd race the back roads. You know, there's usually a limit of one shot. Well, he knew the bartender. So, there you go. And Blur was born. Blur was also then kicked off of Velocitron for cheating because he tried to enter the actual races. Um, Now, there is another form of Energon. Well, actually, there's a couple more forms of Energon. Might as well get this one out of the way. Dark Energon. Comes from Homie. This is at the point where after the 86 movie, he was a head. So his head got separated from his body. His body got blown apart, and shards of his blood, his energon, crystallized in the cold of space and landed on different planets. And Megatron thinks it's crack. Homie's gonna put it in his chest. That's how he eats it. To answer the question, they drink it like a beverage, or they put themselves in a sort of like a hyperbaric chamber, and it fills up with energon gas, and they like filter feed. Or they fill up a big ass tub with it and sit in it like like a hot tub and just soak it in. Now you can do that with this stuff. Because, like I said, it flows like rivers and streams. It's actually an ocean, I believe, somewhere. Maybe that's on the butt. Maybe that's an ocean. I don't know. There's a lot of lakes, rivers, and streams. There's one other natural form of energon. What's in a bot? Now, for all of this energon that they ingest, you gotta poop it out. They have to extrude it somehow. Well, that's what the energon waste storage and dispersal, not disposal, dispersal unit is for. It takes your energon waste, refines it into a usable plasma-based energon, and that is what they shoot. They shoot poo at each other. Now, during this refinement, of course, sludge is made, and that is leaked off into the planet, and yada, yada, yada. And that's how you get toxin. It is a toxic energon that even being near it for long periods of time will make you sick. Being embedded with it or turning it into a gas for a weapon, it would kill all those in its radius, which is why you keep it in a protective dome. Now, of course, anything in nature, when you create anything in nature, Energon gives life, things of this nature. Well, you got things that need to feed on pure Energon. People think they eat metal. They don't eat metal. They pierce the metal so it leaks Energon. Because their head is right there. Right there. So as they're clamping down and you're leaking Energon, they just drink your Energon. And the more primitive version of them, or the baby version, scraplets, they eat away at your metal to get to the Energon. And then they travel throughout your system, eating up your Energon until there's nothing left, and then they find a way out to go find more Energon because they're just hungry. They're hungry all the time. So they'll go after the Energon that's in here. They'll go after any of that Energon. Hell, I think they'll even go after that Energon. But that's not the only Energon either. Because then there's converted energy into Energon. And that stuff, picture a cube with a clear viscous fluid in it. Then put a pinkish hue to the viscous fluid. Make sure the cube is clear though. And then put glitter. So you can shake it and it'll move like an oil. An oil would be great. And then like a hint of red for a food coloring. and to turn it pink, and then add glitter. And that would be the G1 version of Energon. Now, gas, it took 3 Energon cubes squished into one to make one viable Energon cube. Before then, they were always pink. They got smushed into because the pink was too rich, so it had to be dulled down by adding more. That never made sense to me, but whatever. And there is a whole system. And the way you collect the energy also depends on the hue of the energon, whether you get it through solar, thermal, electrical, water. Um, because there's when you get it from the water, there's always moisture in the air. So yeah, so the cubes are going to collect that. You know, if you're high up in the mountains and you're doing it by wind, guess what? It's going to pick up the chill of the wind. Unless they're housed inside, which why would you house energon cubes inside? Um, it's going to get snowed on with that cold ass snow and cold rain and all that. It's going to absorb that. So you're going to have different hues no matter how you collect the energy. But there's this whole gauge that I'm not going to bore you with. But there's created energon with the gauge. There's synthetic energon, which was made in prime. There's the rare, refined, and pure version of energon. Dark energon, byproduct of waste management energon, product of waste management energon. So that's energon. I'm sorry this one's so short, but next week we should have some reveals, and I may even wait to do the unboxing. And Wheelie's gonna have a new home. Let me see. I made a list, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay. So these are the bots that are coming. Warpath pipes, wheelie tracks, beachcomber, and a yellow hauler. That's right, a yellow hauler. Sunstreaker, a new side swipe, cliff jumper to match the prime Bumblebee. A different red alert, I think, is the more G1 inspired because that's Armada. And Trailbreaker. So, also, Wheelie is on his way, and Sir Optimus Prime, his weapon is coming. He doesn't want to be called a king. He doesn't want to be called a ruler. So he's a knight. I'm good with calling him a knight. He wants to be a knight. More power to them. That's Energon. It's the lifeblood. It's what fuels them. It's what they eat, what they bathe in, what they poo, what they shoot at each other. Unfortunately, what they've also poisoned their planet with. And at times they were so desperate, tried to create themselves. Thank you for spending time with me today. I appreciate it. I made 90% of this. I did not make this. I did not make this. All of these I made. Because they don't sell red Energon. They don't sell Toxend. They don't sell... they're just starting now to sell dark Energon. Now they sell Energon cubes. They're pink. And I think they're about yay big. If that's the case, I can buy a bunch of pink dice, sand the numbers off, and there we go. I can get a bunch of blue dice and do the same thing. So I'm not really worried about it anymore. I'll do it myself. If I want more Energon. I had plenty of Energon. I'm not worried about Energon. But to answer the question, that is what they eat, that is what they poo, and that is what they fire at each other. From Uncle Bobby's Cybertronian Corner, I want to thank you for all your prayers, all your support, all your love. Thank you very much. Aunt Jen's still in the hospital, so there's that. Here's hoping she gets better soon so she can come home, because I'd like to hug my wife. And I'm sure you guys would like to know that your aunt's okay. So, from me to you, I want you to remember, Uncle Bobby loves you. Okay? Later.